This is another Crafty Sausage video, and today I am going to be showing you my railroad track going around an ocean. So you can see right now we're just going through this abandoned village here, which we might actually redo in a future episode and restore it and make it look a bit nicer. Right here, we're going across a dam right now. And this bit is actually a little bit like bouncy here because I wanted it to go on a diagonal. Right here we're going over a bridge there. That was just a simple little bridge for just a little bit of, just a very low amount of water. And then you can see right here I had to cut into the ground a little bit. I tried to make this railroad as realistic as possible, and that's why you can see like there's like the button things that turn on the powered rails as you go through, so that way they're not constantly on. A bit more area where it's sort of cut into the ground. And right here you can see we're going over a cherry wood bridge there, but it's not actually a pink bridge because I just used the logs, which only the ends of the logs are pink. Go around the big turn. This is one of the big corners of the railroad track. And then we go over the three big bridges. And next here, they're all the same design as this, which once we're done going the whole way around the ocean here, which shouldn't take too horribly long, I will get out and show all these bridges from the side. And then we go into a tunnel here. This is going under an island. And I thought I would do this even though the tunnel isn't really necessary, because island property is probably is a bit more valuable than other types of property. So it's better to go underneath and save that property. But you can see the second island here, I did not do that because there just wasn't enough height to the island. And then we're going across the third bridge here and heading into the snow biome just up ahead. Right here we're going over a bit of a darker style bridge. This is like one of the only bridges that is lit up because it keeps the snow off of it, because I didn't really want snow on that bridge. Then you can see right in here, it gets a little bit wonky because we have to go around this large hill here, and then down this big hill, across the bridge. I don't like how on this bridge, the little powered things on the buttons, they flip the trapdoors, which are the handrails for the sides of the bridge, which I guess I don't really need them since it's a train bridge, but I think it just makes it look better. Anyway, very soon here you can see we'll be leaving the snowy area and we will see the naturally floating log. And then a bit more of the cutaway ground here with a bit of a retaining wall. And then we have made it about halfway around already. You can see we're coming up on this village right here. And this is actually the second planter I had to like cut straight through the middle of. And then we go across probably the fanciest bridge of them all, but also a very low and simple bridge. This bridge, well, you can't see it when you're going across it, but it actually has diamonds on the inside, like diamond blocks. I'll show it later. And then you can see up over there is a pillager outpost, which those pillagers actually did pick a really good spot for their outpost because, well, it's very open right here so they can see around. They have a village over here, and there's a village off in that direction a little ways that we are heading towards right now. So there are actually 3 villages connected to this train track. So you can see right here, we're on a bit of a large beach here. Now, I tried to avoid these areas thinking that realistically, since I tried to build this more realistic, these would flood a lot more than other areas, even though technically they are higher than like this area right here. This bridge I tried to go for more of like an industrial sort of looking. I tried to make every bridge unique, except for like those three bridges that were together. They were in like a pairs, so I didn't make them unique. And I also tried to match them up with like the biome they were in. You can see right through here I had to do a lot of earthworks to like build all this up here and then put a bit of a retaining wall here. And then right here we just have pretty much the same thing as the bridge we went over, the first bridge we went over, except for it's oak, and I sort of started to run out of ideas for bridges through here. There's another one, and then we're coming up on the mine shaft tunnel here. Now, I didn't actually plan to build this here. I planned to turn it and just completely miss this place right here, but I didn't realize there was a village over here until I was like right about to turn, and I was like, oh, there's a village over here. So I just built a tunnel through here. It sort of looks like a mine shaft. It's pretty cool, I think. You can see right here, I made a villager bridge, so basically just made like a land bridge without the water goes under. You can see here, we're going through another flower forest. Now coming up on this hill here, I was originally wanted to go through it, but you can see I actually decided, so you can see it's like cut through over there, but I instead went around it because I changed the way the track went. But I decided to leave the cutout area there, so that way, once again, it looks more realistic. And then we have these little bridges over right here, over these like sinkholes. And then coming up, we'll be going over it here really soon. You can see it ahead is the rainbow glass bridge. You can see very colorful, interesting. Now, right in here is probably the most mountainous area that it goes through. I sort of feeded the train track through a little valley here, which we'll look at that from above once we finish. We are almost the way around. We are probably about 3/4 of the way around. Now you can see coming up here, this is sort of like a built-up gravel area, because I feel like this area right in here would flood a lot. And there is actually some really cool, like, oh, spoilers. There is actually some really cool like areas in here, which I'll show you later. And then right here is the entrance to the jungle, the covered bridge. You can see from the inside it's very tight, and I will tell you, this bridge is super annoying to like just walk through just because of the way I made it. And here we go into the birch forest. Now you can see I didn't clear the trees nearly as well through here because I sort of got lazy, because at the beginning there was like a big space between the trees around it. You can see like through here, the trees are a lot closer. Now coming up just around this bend, we can see the most environmental bridge that I have, the grass bridge. There's trees growing on it and stuff. And then you can see there is our jukebox building from our jukebox video that we did. Link above on the top of the screen. And then we are back to the beginning for the most part. Okay, so you can see here, this is the abandoned village that I'm hoping to redo at some point. Then if we fly over here, past the map building, this is the dam here. Pretty simple design. Not really a bridge, but I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. Right here, you can see the birch bridge with a bit of oak on it. And then right here, you can see an area where I cut into the ground a little bit. And then there's this cool little area where it's sort of on the edge of a cliff. We have our cherry bridge, which I was talking about earlier. You can see it's not actually a pink bridge, it's more of this copper colored bridge with the darker look to it. And then right over the hill here, we have this area, which is built up. I tried to keep it pretty realistic with the areas that go up and down. Then a big wide turn here. This is one of the 3 bridges that go across. This is the island that the tunnel goes under right here. This is the 2nd bridge. This is the 3rd bridge right here. This one actually got a little unrealistic. I was debating moving the track around a little bit because there's a bit of a really deep area down here. But I figured you wouldn't really see it that easily, so I didn't really worry about it that much. If we enter the snowy area here, this is the bridge for that one. Squares. Probably the worst way to build a bridge, but I think it looked pretty cool the way it turned out, so I like it. When I was going over here, I was debating actually turning it off and making it just go straight over the ice, but I decided not to. You can see this area that I built up here. And actually, this might be the biggest drop right here. I'm not sure. And then right here, you can see the trapdoors are down in this one too. But this one is also lit up since I don't want snow on it. And you can see this one's a pretty cool looking bridge as well, going across the ice. It has some very beefy pillars since the ice is it needs to be strong because the ice will pull it down. A bit more area that's cut into the ground here. And you can see right here, this is the naturally floating log. And then a bit more of the area that's dug into the ground. This is the village right here that we went past. This is the first one that's not abandoned. And then this is the bridge that I was talking about, has the diamonds in it. You can see them on the side now. Bit more of a built up area. I could probably bone meal that area as well. This is the more industrial looking bridge right here with those sort of supports and anvils on the top. And then this right here is the area where I really had to do a lot of terraforming because even this area right here, you can see I built it up a whole bunch. And then this is where I started the retaining wall and then went down slowly. This bridge is basically the same as the first one I showed, except for it's made out of completely oak. And then that one's exactly the same. And then right here is where I actually planned it to turn and just go in that direction there. But instead, I took it through the mine shaft here and around over to here. And this is where probably the worst bridge I've ever made in my life in Minecraft I have constructed. It is basically just floating. And this is by the village that wasn't originally going to be connected. And there's a bit of a retaining wall here. I decided to use this block because I felt like it's something that the villagers would use. Right here is where I originally had the track going through here, but then I changed my mind and made it just go around it, since it looks nicer this way. Oh, and there's my tutorial build that I made over there for those houses. Link above if you want to see that. Anyway, this is the little bridges over the sinkholes or the cracks in the ground. Here's this bridge, the rainbow bridge. You can see this is the area where we really had to weave through some mountains. And then across here is where the area through here is. And there's actually some really interesting glitches that happen when the world loaded in, like this. Sort of weird. This is the covered bridge. I'm gonna get down a little bit lower and the trees end here. You can see the side of it better. Then we get out here to the natural bridge with the trees growing on it. You can see it's got the big stone pillars. It's got to hold all that weight up. And then there's nothing really interesting past here. It just sort of loops back around. Anyway, I think that's about it for this video. This is another Crafty Sausage video. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe too while you're at it.